Hey guys, welcome back with another video with Linksy. Sorry it is a bit late today, I apologize ahead. This happened because I was mucking around with the save file of yesterday on livestream. I'd highly recommend checking it out. I went absolutely crazy because I found a glitch which unfortunately I have not yet been able to replicate, but I'm working on it and hopefully will be able to do so soon. The glitch gives you infinite winds of magic while you're in a battle and basically no cooldown reduction on your spells, essentially making mages even stronger and more broken than they are. With that said, I thought also to have a chat with you guys since I'm having a big creative block about Winds of Magic themselves. It's the only thing I can think of. I have been looking, analyzing, and trying to come up with ways of replicating what I found. It is essentially based from what I can get, evasion skill, which most mages get. If we click on one of my mages over here, they get the evasion, which gives you the plus 6% movement speed and the extra melee defense. Now combine that with the very fast trait, which comes with small flying units, you get an opportunity to do a lot of damage. That said, without looking at the cheese, let's get right into this video. This video, I am winging it off the bat, so keep that in mind. If I miss something, let me know. But essentially what this video is going to look at is the Winds of Magic. What are the Winds of Magic? Winds of Magic is the mana of Warhammer universe. In Warhammer Total War, you need the Winds of Magic to cast your spells with your heroes, and it is a limiting factor from the super broken, overpowered spells that can do a lot of damage, but you cannot cast them infinitely because your magic runs out. Now, the first counter, or the way to counter this, is to get as much Winds of Magic as possible through various methods. The first method of this is to hire as many lords as possible, lords and mages as possible that your faction can allow with the trait which is called Knowledgeable. Why is this important? This gives you 5 Winds of Magic, all armies, faction-wide. You have enough of these, you get a lot of extra Winds of Magic. I have like 5 or 6 in this campaign. This is my Repents campaign from my live stream, and it is one of the ways that I was able to cast non-stop super strong spells and keep my army alive. I have a number of them scattered in my armies, and it is really important you make these ladies immortal as fast as possible. Another thing you can do to add Winds of Magic is every magician gets magical reserves and Arcane Conduit. You need to get these to make sure that you have as much as possible. Magical reserves gives you an additional 15 Winds of Magic, and Arcane Conduit unlocks a very small but almost crucial Winds of Magic boost, one would say, of your army. This we will look into a battle later on, how it works, and we will also talk about how you can maximize your Winds of Magic use in battle at the fastest possible space. Now, having recruited a number of them, I still, get a significant boost, which is of 65. Then, as you can see, there's the base power, which is of 60. This is for everyone. It is equal to everyone. And there are other, which in this case I believe it is special abilities of lords and of heroes that I have confederated, and as well as research events. Now, what are these events? Each location can have different events. In the case of here, there's Winds of Magic Blowing. It gives you a little bit of extra boost. In this case it's not giving much, it's giving 0, but for some reason this is calculating it at 20. That is okay. Oh no, it's up here. One of these events probably giving you an extra boost. Another thing is, for example, you can get buildings such as the Black Pyramid of Nagash, where you can have the Vault of Nagash, which gives you the 30 reserve of Winds of Magic for everyone. It might be actually that what is giving the boost. We need to find an army that has a mage to see. That is the other, yeah, there you go. That is the boost you get. But then there are items and followers. And the items and followers are simply, when you look at the mages, they have hedge wizards, court jesters, etc. They have these followers, and hedge wizards give you a big boost. If you get enough of them, you can get a ridiculous amount of magic. I believe you can get these from different events that happen with regards to using your mages. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any information on how to make a possible farm of the hedge wizards similar to the research followers and the other stuff that are very common. I couldn't find anything on the Reddit or anywhere on the Total War community. If anyone does know, please give me a comment down below, and I'll make a video on that as well. So I'm trying to collect some information on how to collect various followers and banners. Now, that said, the hedge wizards are one of many. Each faction has their own. Some have much more, some have much less. But it is interesting to know the ability to recruit these. It is also good to know that you can get knowledgeable lords. Knowledgeable lords are from when you have magic lords over here. In this case, I do not believe that you can get knowledgeable prophetess for the Bretonnians, but I know for a fact you can get so for the or similar for the wood elves and high elves. They have abilities that give extra winds of magic based on the battle you are in. With that said, let's jump into a battle, and I'll try to find a battle that I have close by, or else I'll go find a siege battle because it's easier to discuss this in a siege battle because it gives you a little bit more time to cast your spells. Hey guys, so I couldn't find a proper battle, and I realized that they do have a battle where magic could be used, saved, and this is the infamous battle I mentioned earlier, where I found that glitch that I'm trying to replicate and have failed to do so. What was the glitch? Well, essentially the glitch was where I was casting 3 winds of magic spells with no cooldown and spamming them. It was glorious. The cheese god was with us for a brief moment in time, and we were blessed by the blessings of the cheese god. However, unfortunately, the cheese god has hidden his tricks and tips from us, and we are yet once more not benefiting from such tips and tricks. However, I thought it would be a great opportunity to give you a rundown on how winds of magic work. To my understanding, I've done some research on this because I try to maximize magic as much as possible, especially since this is a Gelt campaign, and as we all know, Gelt is the most fabulous of wizards. Winds of magic, you hover over the power bar over there, and you have 3 different things. You have power, which is actively limited to 30. You have power reserves, which is unlimited. It's only limited in the campaign by what actions and decisions you take. And you have the recharge rate, which is currently 1 power per 6 seconds. There are various ways to change this recharge rate, and most primal of these is of course using the Arcane Conduit. You use the Arcane Conduit, you reduce it to 3 seconds per 1 power reserves in this current case, and also adding an additional 10 power reserves while the Winds of Magic is active, while the Arcane Conduit is active. And as you can see, the power reserves are staying the same while the power is going up. Why is this? Because the power reserves count also the power that you have active in your pool of usable magic. This pool of usable magic allows you to cast the spells, and if you have maximum use, you can pretty much cast any spell. But if you have limited use, you will not be able to cast certain spells because you haven't yet to access the power reserves. Ideally, you have as high of power reserve as possible when you're casting your magic, as it gives you higher recharge. If you want to access the full power reserves that you have without waiting for hours, you should always make sure that your power, if you have the time, and oftentimes in sieges you do have the time, your power reaches 30, as it has happened here. For some reason the power is 29 of 30 while we have 30 power over there. That is very interesting. That's something I want to look into, as it is definitely something of great interest. There is an additional Winds of Magic there that is not showing. I've not noticed this one before. Hopefully it is something that we could abuse. But without saying much more, how would you cast your spells? Spells, as we said, do work on Winds of Magic, and the Winds of Magic, which is the mana, is limited. So each spell has its own Winds of Magic cost. We can see in the little spell card, you have in this case 10 Winds of Magic for a 25 second spell duration flamestorm, and then you have of course the cooldown that happens after you cast the flamestorm. In this case, I'm gonna cast the flamestorm on the Skaven, and we're gonna have some barbecued rat, and they're going to get barbecued over there. Now, as you there is of course a range that you can cast it at, and in this case the range is 150 meters, and it has to be on a ground, cannot be used if climbing, or on a wall. As you can see, the spell is being cast, you have a timer, and at the last second you can cancel the spell from being casted. Now, this is the basis of the glitch I was speaking about before, where if you time it perfectly, you can cast free spells and free abilities by just timing it to the last second. It is very difficult to do, but it gets easier as you go along, as there is that little split-second chance when you can cast it. As you can see, the spell is not casting because we are cancelling it. I have been doing this for hours and hours. I think I did it over 5 hours trying to figure out how to do it again. And if you do manage to find out, please leave me a comment below, because this would change how the game works. We've managed to recreate it every now and again, but it is the exception rather than the rule, and we'd want this to be the rule, as we love breaking the game. The spell cast in this case, and as the spell casts, there is a cooldown timer. The timer for how long the spell is going to last. This is a vortex spell, so it goes wherever the hell it wants. In this case, it went out. It did a decent amount of damage, 13,000 damage, and it ran away, and it killed 186. Honestly, not the worst. The different types of spells that exist, there are many. If you can see from the spell browser, there are a lot of spell schools of magic. You have the Little Wa, you have the Big Wa spells. Little Wa is the goblin spells. They have a variety of them. You can check them out yourself. The Big Wa is of course for the orcs. My favorite one is Foot of Gork, which is just absolutely brutal. Then there is Lore of Light, there is Lore of Heavens, Lore of Fire, Lore of Death, Lore of Vampires, Lore of Metal, Lore of Shadows, Lore of Wild, Lore of Beasts, Lore of Life, Lore of High Magic, Lore of Dark Magic, Skaven Spells of Ruin, Skaven Spells of Plague, Skaven Spells of Stealth, Lord of Nehekara, Lore of the Deep, and Deliverance of Itza, which is essentially a nuclear bomb exploding every time. And just imagine how amazing it would be if we managed to glitch this one in. The damage you could do is unimaginable. Anyway, guys, I hope that was an explanation on how the basis of magic work. I hope it will help you understand better how to manage your magic in the campaign and on the battlefield, as it is an exceptionally important tool in Warhammer Total War to control the battlefield and to do devastating amounts of damage. It has its limitations, and these limitations are purely the amount of winds of magic you have available, the time it takes to regenerate the winds of magic, the time it takes for the cooldown of the spells, and of course, above and beyond that, the difficulty to control the spells. Magic is, of course, a force of nature, and you should control this quite carefully. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video. I am going to do my utmost to bring you better content this year in 2021. Thank you so much for the love you've given me in the past few days. I will try to get the cheese sorted out sometime this month. If I don't manage, well, I am sorry. I would have tried my damnedest to do so. Take care. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. It does really genuinely help me out a lot. And for those who've been here for a long time, thank you very much. Have a lovely day and stay safe out there, boys and girls. Bye bye.